We're good.
Alrighty. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Branching Out. We've changed the background a little bit. We got a different setup. And today, I get the pleasure of interviewing Christina Dale. Just hopped on staff.
Literally, I started the day before you. I think
wow.
I started like February 2nd, and you started February 3rd or something. Or 1st and 2nd, something like that.
That's crazy. But we've both been on staff for the least amount of time. And so we thought that it'd be a great idea to get a different perspective on somebody that's new to the body of Bentree, but also somebody that is new on staff as well. And so, Christina, could you just kind of take us through a little bit? Like, how did you find Bentree?
Yeah, so really funny. So I found Bentree on Indeed when I found this job.
Nice.
Isn't that so wholesome and beautiful?
Yeah.
Yes, so I found out about Bentree. I saw the job description, and so I looked up Bentree online, and I was like, wow, this place looks so cool. So like, your website was great. That impressed me.
Shout out Jason.
Shout out Jason's the best. And like, I watched several of the live stream, and so that's kind of how I got to know about Bentree. I knew about Prestonwood. Preston World is what we call it.
Six Flags Over Jesus.
Yeah, Six Flags.
Yep.
I knew about them, that they, and I was like, oh my gosh, like right across the street. And I didn't know that they were there.
Yep.
So yeah, that's how I found out about Bentree.
So you found it on Indeed. So you were looking for a job position.
I was.
And you were like, oh, this church is cool and they're going to hire someone?
Yes.
Okay.
It was like a win-win.
So tell me a little bit about your hiring process, and did you first start attending Bentree, or did you just fresh out of the box just applied and then you started attending Bentree?
Yes. So I just applied, and I had not gone to the service, and
Nice.
they had offered me the job. And so I was considering taking the position, still praying through it, thinking about it. And so that's when I did attend a service on the Sunday after Christmas.
Very nice.
Actually. And that was a fun Sunday, all in family Sunday. So that was really fun. Yeah.
So was that the first of the year? So right at 2022?
Yeah, so that was December 26th,
Oh,
the
okay.
day right after Christmas. You know, this year Sunday, that Sunday was like the day right after Christmas. And so that's when I visited.
Cool.
And then like a week or so later, I accepted the position. And yeah, then the first of the year I came.
That's
and
awesome.
It was awesome. Yeah.
That's so cool. So what does your role currently look like? Because you're part of Worship and Arts right now,
Yes.
doing stuff with students.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about what your role looks like at the moment.
Yes. So my role right now is I'm Worship and Arts Coordinator, right? So that's a fun title. I do a lot of behind the scenes stuff for Sunday morning to help our worship pastor, Caleb, who is really awesome. I really enjoy working with him. And also Nico, doing some stuff on the technical side.
We love them.
I get to lead worship on Sundays sometimes. So Caleb and Nico get to fight over who gets me for that week. And then I am also coordinating and leading worship also for the high school worship team, and also coordinating middle school worship teams as well.
Very
and
nice.
I'm super pumped because we have several students that are interested in auditioning pretty soon. So that'll be something happening. It's just cool to see these students. They're so talented, and them wanting to use those gifts that God has given them to lead worship. It's so cool to be a part of that.
And I got to say too, because doing the student worship coordination was one of the things I did here for 2 years.
Yeah.
And it was so much fun seeing these students, because I started that position 2-3 months before COVID started. And so having that almost completely wipe out, and then bringing the students back and starting outside, and then going to the gym, and then the family theater, and then finally back in the treehouse. It's really cool to have, the students where they're at right now and see kind of where you're leaning right now. So it's super exciting.
They're in a great place.
Yeah.
Yes. The opportunity for the Lord to move and really work in these students. This is prime time. I'm just excited to see what, the Lord's doing. What's he doing?
He's doing some great stuff.
Yeah. I just want to see it.
I love that. So you've been here for a month, 2 months, because you started right after Christmas. What stands out about Bentree, and how's it been different than other churches you've attended?
Yeah, Bentree has been, from the moment I walked in, just so welcoming. Pastor Libin actually recognized me and my husband right off the bat, introduced himself, and just so lovingly welcomed to the church body and into the family. And also, I just love the way that Bentry is, you totally come as you are, and you totally are free to be yourself. And I really love that, and have not always felt that way in churches, that I get to be myself. And it's just so great. The multi-generational also aspect of it.
Big time.
Is so good, and such a picture of, you know, what I think Jesus wanted church to look like. He wanted the church to be multi-generational, and just super cool. Oh, and also the music. I mean, worship is top tier, top notch.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Yes.
Yeah, the worship here has been it's been great ever since I started going here, because I've been here for 13 years. And so I've seen a lot of different waves of people coming in, and people, you know, trying different things, and all of the different because I mean, contemporary Christian music has changed so much.
A lot.
From, if you look at, you know, 2009 all the way to now, it's like, holy cow.
Yes.
You know, we were jamming to Chris Tomlin every single Sunday, and now it's like we got all
Great
this.
Are You, Lord.
Hey, great are you, Lord, every Sunday. Chris Tomlin just knows what's up.
He's so good. Did you listen to his new country kind of album with different
Was that
country
with
artists?
Florida Georgia Line? He did.
Yeah, he did one with Florida Georgia Line. I liked it.
Was it called like Praise the Lord, right?
Yeah, something like that. I don't remember now, but I did like it.
I think I played that as like a song at my wedding reception.
Did you?
I think so.
Yeah, it's fun
catchy.
one. Yeah, it's fun.
It's catchy. It's great.
So Chris Tomlin, he's still doing stuff.
Yeah. Well, that's good. He
We're
should
proud
be.
of him.
I mean, he's a pioneer.
He's done some really great things.
Truthfully a pioneer. Sticking on that same topic of worship, we talked with Kevin and Brandon last week about United, but we were both also a part of United. We were on the worship team.
Yes.
This was also your first United. This was my 10th. I've been to every single United, so 9th or 10th United.
Yes.
Walk me through what it was like to serve and then also be able to see the students worship. Like, what were those two different experiences like this past weekend?
So I didn't really know exactly what to expect. There had been so much hype building up, like, oh, United, it's the best weekend ever. The kids, you know, the students were like, oh, United, it's like the highlight of my year, you know. And I was like, man, there's some really high expectations like for this weekend. I don't really know what to expect. I was super pumped to lead worship and sing with such talented musicians and like really awesome worship leaders, and the band was incredibly, and they were so sweet and so welcoming, and I was so new. Yeah. No one knew me, and I was just like, hey, I'm here, you know, I'm new. This is like my first thing I'm doing. I'm brand new to staff, and they were so welcoming and were just so awesome. But they didn't really explain all the details of some things. Like when the students started coming up on the stage.
Oh, you didn't know that they were going to rush.
I didn't know.
Oh,
I didn't know.
No.
And so I did. It did scare. It scared me.
It is a little spooky.
I was like, well, I was like, you know, we were worshiping, you know, and there was so much energy, and it was awesome. We were jumping, and then one of them just jumped on the stage on my side first before any other side, and so I was like, oh,
what's going on?
You're coming up. You're coming up here, and then the whole like stage flooded.
Yep.
With students.
Yeah.
And once I realized, okay, this is actually okay, I was like, oh, wait, this is really fun. And then I'm like jumping and stuff. Like, it was so fun.
Yeah, I genuinely have way less fear when that happens because I'm behind a cage.
Yes, you have a plexiglass protecting you.
Yes, I have protection.
They were like literally in my bubble.
And I have, you know, drumsticks I can just poke the students with.
Just
You're gonna say stab? Stab this.
You can stab them.
We're gonna stab all the kids that go up to the drum cage. One of the other things that I thought was cool with United is you had Gilbert, your husband, on camera, which is great. So he got plugged in real fast too.
Oh yeah, they had him working the cameras. They were telling him what shots to take, and yeah, he said he really enjoyed it.
He's crushing it.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, he's great, and he's leading with me at high school ministry as well, doing the worship. He played drums with me this past Sunday, so he'll be around. Yes. Yeah. Yes.
Has Gilbert enjoyed this transition to Bentry as much as you have?
Oh yes. I mean, we were looking for a community. we were looking for friends, people going through the same kind of life stages that we were going through, newly married couples, which you are. So we've already made fast friends, and I just feel so blessed, and so does Gilbert. We talk about it all the time, just how blessed we have been, and the joy of just being with a church that loves God, loves one another, you know, and is like pursuing sharing the gospel with other people in our community, pursuing the community big time. Like that's our vision, our goal, and then also with the world. And so it's, man, yeah, we're both just really,
that's awesome.
Really happy.
I'm so glad to hear that. Yeah, it really has been this transformation, especially over the last few months. I think that a lot of people with COVID, and then also just with kind of the history of Bentry over the last 3 years, I think there's sometimes a lot of fear that can get associated with change and, you know, new generations coming in. And so I think there really is a special movement that's, you know, happening here. And it's really special to see, you know, new people, new couples coming in, and, you know, just people are on fire for Jesus.
Yeah.
And it's really cool. And it's multi-generational, just like you said earlier.
Yes.
And being able to have that, that's something that you can build a foundation on for anything.
So my mom actually came and visited.
Oh, nice.
And she, it was so cool. She came and visited on one of the Sundays that I was singing and leading worship. So she could hear, and just to see my mom out there worshiping. And then there were some older gentlemen that were sitting around her. They said they had been going to Bentry forever, you know, and, you know, seeing them all worship together and then think, I'm so young and I'm up here leading. And then I look out and there's kids and there's students. And it's just such a beautiful picture of the church, you know, the Big C church, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. It really is amazing being able to see kids, adults, and older people all worshiping to the same song, same thing, one place. It's really cool.
Same melody,
same message.
Know, it's scientifically proven that whenever a group of people are singing together, that your heartbeat starts to sync up.
That's so cool.
Isn't that cool? That. Yes, it is scientifically proven that that happens. Yeah, so that's why, like, choral singing has stood the test of time for so long, is, you know, it just really is deep in your soul, you know.
That is so
congregational song is so, God made it that way.
Yeah.
He really did. And something that I've always said and that I think is true is that I know that there has to be a reason why God put our hearts so close to our vocal cords. We feel that vibration, you know, with your vocal cords and music and speaking, and that you feel that in your core. And God made it that way.
Yeah,
and so that's why singing congregationally and singing together is a commandment in the Bible. You know, like you're fulfilling a commandment of God when you sing.
Yeah.
You know? And I get to be a part of that, and you get to be a part of that, no matter how old you are, no matter your status. I mean, that is the church.
Yeah, it's a super cool, like, I get emotional whenever I look out in the congregation where I'll see, you know, my wife and her small group, and I'm just like, it's just so good.
It's
like,
beautiful.
it's so beautiful. And it really is. There's so much emotion and so something so raw and authentic about worshiping and singing together. It's such a cool experience to where even if you go to a concert where there's tens of thousands of people, you know, I think that the energy that you get from worshiping God, oh my goodness, it completely transcends any type of other musical performance. I mean, obviously we're musicians, so we're a little biased with it, but I didn't know that about the vocal cords and choir. That's really cool. You were classically trained in choir in college, right?
Yes. Okay. So I went to Baylor University and I studied church music, Sikkim Bears. And so it was very classical music, traditional, you know, background foundation for, you know, my musical capabilities. But at the same time, I was serving at Highland Baptist in Waco, Texas.
Very nice.
And that's where I got a lot of my like contemporary training, vocal training and other kinds of stuff like that. Yeah. So I'm a mix of both.
Cool.
You know, I have an appreciation for both. Of course, I prefer contemporary. I prefer, you know, modern
for sure
style of worship, but
yeah. That's awesome. Well, speaking of worship and united, there is one thing we do need to address.
Oh, no.
Some people might be wondering why there's a duck here. And it is because I think we set a record for the first time in the history of ever where somebody has had a musical performance and they were hit in the face with a rubber duck. Christina, care to elaborate?
Yeah. So I'm just singing away. And then I just see an object coming toward me, and it hit me in the face, and it was a rubber duck. And it hit me kind of like halfway in my eye, but more so like on my cheek.
Yeah, it was direct shot.
Oh, yeah. It wasn't like this nice little lob. It was like I got nailed.
It was a headshot.
In the face. Oh, yeah. It hurt. So I kind of like took a step back. It definitely like stunned me. And then I was like, okay, well, I got to keep going.
Right.
So I tried to play it cool, and I tried to get back into it. So,
which that's impressive to get hit in the face with really anything while you're worshiping and still being like, no, I'm still gonna worship. We have footage on the video version of this where we're gonna show Christina getting absolutely destroyed by.
Please enjoy.
Yeah, we're still looking for the culprit as we speak.
If you slow it down, you can see them winding up, and you can see the back of a boy's head.
We know it's the back of someone's head.
But a lot of the students after, they were like, oh my gosh, Christina, we're so sorry you got hit in the face with a duck. They were like, are you okay?
I didn't even know what happened until you had shown. You were like, I got hit in the face with a duck.
Yeah, you were on the other side of the stage.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't have seen it. But Kevin Rosen, he said he saw it bounce off my face.
Oh my goodness.
Or Steven. Yeah, he said he saw it bounce off my face, and he thought, oh no.
Yeah, I think the really entertaining thing too is like, how do you go back into a worship set? And we literally, because Stephen was running the tracks, and you just hear intro 2, 3, and I'm like, I guess we're going to the next song. Like, this is fine. Yeah. Okay. Well, that was that was a moment.
What I should have done is the next day put makeup on my eye, like I had a black eye, and then came out with like a limp. You know, like they had like
that would
really
be hysterical.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I thought about it, but then I was like, then I had to bring makeup wipe and get it off, and it's not worth it.
Oh, that'd be a funny bit. That's funny. Well, I appreciate the play-by-play with that.
Yes.
We've both been on staff for a month now. What are your first impressions of being on staff here and what the staff culture is like? Because I'm kind of curious. I have my opinion, but I'm curious what you've experienced with your team.
So I have never felt so valued, you know, that my opinion is valued as a young person, as a woman, you know, that I didn't have to prove myself. The staff here, they're just so welcoming, and, you know, Steve told both of us, you know, that we hired you because we know you already checked all the boxes for us to do your job and do it well, that you're equipped for this job. So you don't have to, you know, prove in like this first couple weeks that you're worthy of this job, because that's just not how we do things here.
Yeah.
And I just really appreciated that. And also I appreciate, you know, so me and Caleb were talking about this today, actually, that above all else, you know, as a worship leader, as a staff member, you know, you need to be a daughter, a son, a wife, you know, you need to be in your family. And so if anything ever comes up like that, you know, that you don't have to be gone on a Sunday, you know, something like that, we will be okay. And I was like, that's so nice, because at other places, you know, if you're not there, and the whole world falls apart.
Yeah.
You know?
It's like Jenga, but terribly structured.
Terribly structured.
One person leaves.
It's the last parts of Jenga.
Exactly.
Before the fall.
Yes. With my experience so far being on staff, obviously we're on different teams. Worship and Arts obviously has a huge role in what the Sunday experience looks like for Bentry. And one of the things that I've tried to do is, how do we take the experience that we provide on a Sunday and then also give that back to the community and people that may have never even heard of us Monday through Saturday.
Yeah.
And so being on the engagement team, which is a fairly new team, my boss is Matt Smith. And even though that I've only really known him for like a month, the same thing, I've just felt so welcomed and respected and appreciated. And that's been such a cool thing to have, where for the first time in years, it's, I enjoy showing up to work.
Yes.
It's the best. Just being able to know that you get to be with your friends. Mm-hmm. The culture here really is respectful, and it's better together. It's all community driven. And I think that there's been such a change from where Bentry was. And I really do think there's a special movement happening within the congregation.
Absolutely.
As well as with the staff members.
Yes.
And so I think that, like, as we're kind of we're the youngest people on staff, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
We got Michael, too. So Michael behind the camera.
He's behind the camera.
But, the three of us, respectively, we're the youngest people here. And so to me, there's almost like not necessarily a responsibility, but just there's almost a calling to be a vessel of being like, hey, we can be, in our young, or not young, but our early to mid 20s, and still be like, hey, this place is awesome. This is what truly living through Christ looks like.
Yes.
I mean, it's been an amazing experience having Lib and Hop on the team, us being able to get plugged in super quickly. It's been such a seamless experience that's been filled with so much joy. Because I think with previous jobs, there's been moments of happiness, but happiness is fleeting.
Yes.
And so I think being able to really kind of dig in and be like, you know what? This is all dependent and predicated on Jesus.
Right.
And that's been so cool. Just be like, there's so much more joy in that.
Yeah.
It's so much better. And so I feel like I might be a broken record because I've told so many people of how much I enjoy this job, but it's really great. I think the position we're in is super awesome. So speaking of being young, we kind of touched on this already, but the community is like a young adult. I know that like getting plugged into a life group here is super important. And so how have you felt, you and Gilbert both, how have you felt in terms of being plugged in, having a home? Like, have you felt like it's been pretty easy to talk to and communicate with other young couples here? Like, tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I think maybe Gilbert and I have had a unique experience since I'm on staff, and I've run into you and to Michael, who are the same age as us.
Right.
But we went to the membership gathering, which was really neat, actually. And we were like paired in tables, and where we were able, there was like a person at the table that was like the head of the table, an actual Bentry member that we could ask questions to.
Yeah.
And so that made it so easy for us to talk to someone. And actually someone at our table was around our age, just happened to be, they probably planned it. They probably planned that way. But another young lady who was about our age, maybe around our age. And so, it has been very, very easy.
That's awesome.
To get plugged in. And, you were talking about us being young and as super unique opportunity for our jobs to be here.
Yeah.
I feel that our generation is missing out on getting plugged into church. That
big time.
Our generation, like our friends, they're not prioritizing church, that the way that I think we should.
Yeah.
And to me, it's really sad because I've seen my friends go through so much loneliness and so much, hardness and, hard times in life and this the pandemic and COVID and isolation by themselves. They've been going through that alone, when if you would get plugged into a church, you would have a family that would rally around you and be there with you. And that's why, Christ said, on this rock, I will build my church. The first time that the word church is in the Bible is from the mouth of Jesus. Yet we're like, I'll go on Easter. I'll go on Christmas.
Right. It's like the 2 times of the year.
Yeah. And that deeply saddens me for my friends. And so I hope that as young people, you and I, making this video, pursuing, our jobs here at the church, that we can influence our generation, that being a part of a church, being plugged in with Christ, being plugged in with people who actively follow Christ and walk hand in hand with him will radically change your life, will radically change the way you view the world around you.
Big time.
And you can't, man is not meant to do this alone.
Yeah.
And instead we sit at home and we look at Instagram and we scroll through and we say, man, I wish I had that car. I wish I had that house. I wish I was able to go to, wherever, out on the islands, whatever.
Right.
So, that's what I think is so sad. And so I'm so excited that you and I are here, and Michael, who's behind the camera.
We love Michael.
That we get to be here and be a part of Bentry and what God's doing here. My prayer is that I wouldn't miss what God's doing. That he would open my eyes to see what he's doing. Yeah. I know he's moving. I know he's here. The word says he's moving and that he's here. But I want him to reveal that to me, reveal that to our students, reveal that to us, to our generation that's missing this.
Yeah.
So,
do you think that people our age not coming to church is indicative of the culture that we're in? Or do you think it's more because people have gotten hurt or burned by the church when they were younger? And so there's like a hesitancy because of experiences they've had when they were kids. Like, what do you think it's more of like a pandemic fueled thing? Or do you think it's more of a kind of just people have had poor experiences as a kid?
I think it's a little bit of both. I have friends that have been burned by the church. Churches are not perfect.
Yeah.
They're just not.
Yeah.
And churches are not perfect because people aren't perfect.
Right. It's a huge misconception to think that we're perfect people.
Exactly.
Or everybody that gets up on stage that worships or preaches is a perfect person. We're all broken.
Right. But I will say I've seen some of my friends affected by the pandemic in this way because of live streaming.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Now, live streaming, I love live streaming, a wonderful tool, but it can be used as an excuse. The building isn't the church. The cameras, the live stream, the video, it's the people.
Yeah, amen to that.
People are the church. And not that watching it online is a bad thing. There are people who are stuck at home, who are bedridden or, unable to travel or, are in a remote area and they don't have churches that they can go to where live stream is obviously the best possible resource for them.
Yeah.
And I also do believe you can have an online community.
100%.
And I think Bentry does that so well.
Yes.
I've never seen a church do it as well as Bentry does.
Yeah,
the online community.
Bentry's been crushing it on the online community aspect.
Absolutely. And to connect people. But I think for the people in our area who choose to sit at home when they could easily come in, it's sad. It's sad, and man, they're missing it. Our generation decides to sit at home and play video games or sit at home and scroll on Instagram. I'll read my inspirational quote of the day, and then I'm done.
That's their church.
Yeah.
It's their experience of, oh, well, I got my Jesus fill for the day.
Yeah.
And I think it's a really interesting concept to bring up, people taking advantage of the digitalization of everything, the church included. We're entering a time where simplicity is what everybody's craving. You just have to pull up to Target and they'll bring you your groceries now.
You don't have to go inside.
Or you just order it on Amazon.
Anybody.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I think that there's an element to that too where that's a challenge for church to figure out, well, how do you create a online experience that is valuable to other people, but also making it to where it doesn't become the experience that you want to have on a Sunday, because there really is such a difference in being able to be here. And that's why I think the community outreach side of what Bentry's focusing on right now is so huge.
It's huge.
Because once you step in the doors on a Sunday and you experience a 9 a.m. or 11 a.m. service, it changes you. What are your kind of final thoughts? Like, what would be like the main thing that you'd want to share with the body that you'd want people to take home after listening to this?
Well, we talked about a lot of different things. I think maybe I made us go way off topic.
No, we've stayed pretty close.
Okay, we tried.
What I got on
You
the
reined
computer.
this in. But, you know, the importance of, I think, what I would like them to leave with is the importance of congregational singing, of being together, because I'm a person who has been through a time where I didn't have that and desperately wanted that. And we have this amazing place here. And man, you've got to come. You've got to come.
Yes.
You've got to get involved. You know, you're looking in all the wrong places for your heart to be fulfilled. You're scrolling through Instagram, you're posting on Instagram, hoping to get likes, to feel loved, and you're not going to find it there. You are going to find so much love and value. You will feel so valued and loved only by Jesus. And where do you find Jesus? You show me Jesus every day. You know what I mean? You're walking and displaying who Jesus is. And man, if you're looking for him, go to a church, come to Bent Tree, because Jesus is here. The Holy Spirit is moving in these people.
Yeah, stay in the story, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stay in the story.
Stay in the story. I think that's going to wrap it up for episode 2 of Branching Out. Christina, thanks so much for hopping on.
Thank you for having me. This was really cool.
It's fun. It's nice.
So fun.
Changed up the look a little bit. Thanks so much. Thanks for joining, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Great job.